Are women who become egg donors fully aware of all the possible side effects? Being an egg donor, or freezing your own eggs, has never been more popular in the UK. Younger women are increasingly seeing adverts on social media to encourage them to consider donating their eggs to help other couples who are going through IVF. But for women who choose to become egg donors or freeze their own eggs, the process of collecting the eggs can be quite arduous and painful. Infertile couples or people who need IVF for other reasons, such as gay couples or single people, have long used donated sperm or eggs. But until recently, fertility clinics usually had a long waiting list for people wanting eggs. A key advance was the arrival, about a decade ago, of a technique called fast freezing, which avoids eggs being damaged by ice crystals. With fast freezing, eggs can be collected whenever is most convenient for the donor and stored until needed. Today, some clinics have no waiting list for UK-sourced eggs. Some clinics have even built up egg banks so that customers can choose their donor to match their own physical features. These changes are welcomed for people struggling with fertility problems. But what is the egg retrieval procedure like for those who become egg donors? As clinics explain to anyone considering being a donor, the process involves multiple medical procedures, including ultrasound scans of their ovaries with a vaginal probe, and daily hormone injections to stimulate the ovaries so that multiple eggs ripen at once. After about 10 days of this, the eggs can be collected by pushing a needle through the vaginal wall until it reaches the ovaries. Now, this needs to be done under sedation or a general anaesthetic and carries a small risk of bleeding or infections. The main concern is if the ovaries become overstimulated, leading to a condition called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, or OHSS. In OHSS, the ovaries release compounds that lead to fluid building up in the abdomen, and that can cause bloating and pain. At its mildest, the woman may just feel uncomfortable for a few days. But in the moderate form of it, there is more fluid build-up, the pain is worse, there may also be nausea and vomiting. In severe OHSS, patients will need to go to hospital. They may need fluid draining from their abdomen, they may need to go on a drip to avoid dehydration. It also raises the risk of strokes and blood clots. It has even, very rarely, led to deaths. Now, we should stress that severe OHSS is relatively rare. In the latest figures, there were only 53 such cases reported in the year 2023 to 2024 for all egg collection procedures. Now, that's an incidence of less than 0.1%. But this might be an underestimate. In another, more recent study, the incidence of either moderate or severe OHSS was found to be 1.6%. Now, while clinics don't have to inform the fertility regulator about mild and moderate cases of OHSS, it can still be quite an unpleasant experience. Medical guidelines say that mild OHSS happens in about a third of cycles for egg donors. Again, this might be an underestimate because any egg harvesting procedure, by definition, needs to overstimulate the ovaries more than usual so that they develop more than one egg. Mild OHSS is so common, it's almost part of the medical procedure. It's not even really considered a side effect or a part of a disease process. So how much are egg donors aware of these possible side effects? Doctors are required by the HFEA to inform egg donors about all health risks, including OHSS. But the regulator does not monitor what clinics or egg banks say in their adverts or on their websites aimed at recruiting donors. The Scottish Government has also come under fire for running a series of egg donor recruitment adverts since 2021 that don't mention side effects at all, and they do seem to target younger women. Some campaigners say it's inappropriate to be targeting women as young as 18 for this complex medical procedure. That includes campaigners like a group called Surrogacy Concern. Now, Surrogacy Concern is a group that says it opposes all forms of surrogate pregnancy and egg donation. It describes itself as a feminist lobby group and says that surrogacy and egg donation exploits women's bodies. The founder of Surrogacy Concern, Helen Gibson, said to me that she thinks it's very sad for couples who are infertile and are desperate to have a baby, but that doesn't mean that young women's bodies are a kind of public resource that can be exploited, or she calls it mined, for eggs. A Scottish Government spokesperson responded to my questions by saying there is a shortage of egg and sperm donors across the UK, and the Scottish Government, in partnership with NHS Scotland, ran the last donor campaign to signpost people who are interested in donating to further information if they were interested in helping those receiving IVF treatment. The HFEA said, although our powers are very limited in relation to what is said in adverts or on clinic websites, they are expected to follow the guidance in the HFEA Code of Practice, as well as specialist guidelines from the Advertising Standards Authority and the Competition and Markets Authority. Egg donation is an amazing act of altruism and generosity, but with the technology increasing, I think we're going to see increasing scrutiny over the coming years in just how clinics recruit and engage with potential egg donors.